Anani was no ordinary man. He was the Rainmaker. Across the vast African savanna, his name was whispered with reverence and awe. Anani possessed an uncanny ability to summon rain. With his weathered hands lifted to the sky, he could coax life-giving water from the clouds. He brought relief to parched lands. His reputation preceded him, reaching far-off villages, desperate for his gift.
I never sought riches or fame. I used my gift to help those in need.
Anani lived a simple life, dwelling in a humble hut on the edge of a small village. One scorching summer day, a group of weary travelers arrived at his doorstep. They were from Goha, a distant village gripped by a devastating drought. The travelers carried with them a message from King Azurato himself. They bore an invitation for Anani to visit Goha. Anani listened intently as the villagers spoke of their plight. They described withered crops, empty wells, and the despair that had settled over their once thriving community.
With a heavy heart, I will accompany you back to Goha.
The journey to Goha was long and arduous. The sun beat down relentlessly. The travelers, weakened by the heat and lack of water, struggled to keep pace. Anani, despite his age, walked with surprising resilience. He drew strength from his purpose. He knew that the fate of Goha rested on his shoulders.
I must keep going. The people of Goha need me.
As they neared Goha, a sense of anticipation rippled through the group. The villagers had sent word ahead of their arrival. A group of Goha's people waited eagerly on the outskirts of the village. They greeted Anani with cheers and songs. Anani was taken aback by the enthusiastic welcome. He had never been treated with such reverence. He had always been a humble man. He was uncomfortable with the sudden attention, but he couldn't help but feel a surge of hope. Maybe, just maybe, he could help these people. He could bring an end to their suffering. Anani had never seen a village so desperate. The usually vibrant marketplace was deserted. The once lush fields lay barren. The trees stood withered and bare. The faces of the villagers were etched with worry and despair. The drought had taken its toll on Goha.
Welcome, Rainmaker. We have been waiting for you.
Despite their hardship, the villagers greeted Anani with warmth and hope. They lined the dusty streets, their eyes shining with a mixture of desperation and reverence. Children ran alongside Anani, their laughter a brief respite from the somber mood.
I have never seen such desperation. I have never felt so needed.
The villagers led him to the heart of the village. There, in the shade of a giant baobab tree, stood King Azurato. The king, a tall, regal man with a worried expression, greeted Anani with a deep bow. He ushered Anani to a place of honor beside him. The villagers gathered around, their eyes fixed on Anani. They hung on his every word. King Azurato, in a voice thick with emotion, expressed his gratitude to Anani for answering their call. He spoke of the devastation the drought had brought upon Goha. He spoke of his people's suffering. He spoke of their dwindling hope. He pleaded with Anani to use his gift to save them.
Anani, please use your gift to save us. Our people are suffering and hope is fading.
Anani listened patiently. He felt the weight of their expectations. He knew that his reputation as the Rainmaker had preceded him. He knew that these people were desperate. He also knew that he could not guarantee rain. He could only ask the spirits to hear his plea.
I will do my best, but remember, I can only ask the spirits.
King Azurato, as a token of his gratitude, showered Anani with gifts. He presented him with intricately woven fabrics, beautifully crafted jewelry, and a herd of the village's finest cattle. Anani was overwhelmed by the king's generosity.
Please, I do not seek reward. I am here to help.
These are but small tokens of appreciation for the hope you bring us.
Anani tried to refuse, insisting that he did not seek reward, but King Azurato insisted. He said that these were small tokens of appreciation for the hope that Anani brought them. A group of young women waited on him hand and foot, bringing him platters piled high with delicious food and refreshing drinks. The hut was spacious and cool, filled with beautiful tapestries and comfortable furnishings. It was a far cry from his simple dwelling. Anani was given a place of honor in the king's own hut.
I am just a man with a gift, yes, but a man nonetheless. I'm not a king or a hero. I appreciate their hospitality, but I don't understand the extravagant treatment. I am truly touched by the villagers' kindness and generosity.
He voiced his confusion to the king, asking why they were treating him with such reverence and why they had showered him with gifts.
You will understand everything soon enough.
Anani was left even more puzzled, unable to shake off the feeling that something wasn't quite right. That night, as Anani lay on a soft mat, unable to sleep, he heard a commotion outside. Curious, he stepped out of the hut. The villagers were gathered around a bonfire, singing and dancing, chanting his name and celebrating his arrival.
They aren't just hopeful, they are expectant. They truly believe that I can bring rain, that I can single-handedly end their suffering.
Anani felt the heavy weight of their expectations. He knew he had to do something. He couldn't disappoint these people. He had to at least try to summon the rain. He decided to perform his ritual, hoping that the spirits would hear his plea and have mercy on the parched land of Goha. As the first rays of dawn kissed the horizon, Anani gathered the villagers and led them to a clearing just outside Goha. He stood in the center of the clearing, his face turned towards the sky. He closed his eyes and began to chant softly. His voice, though frail, carried a certain power.
We have placed all our hope in this one man. We believe that he can perform a miracle, that he can bring life back to our parched land.
Anani continued to chant, his voice growing in intensity. He swayed rhythmically, his hands moving in intricate patterns. He called upon the spirits of his ancestors, pleaded with the forces of nature, and begged for their mercy and intervention. An hour passed, then another. The sky remained stubbornly clear, and the sun beat down mercilessly. The villagers' hope began to dwindle. Still, Anani continued his ritual, refusing to give up and let these people down. Suddenly, the wind picked up. The air, previously still and heavy, crackled with energy. The leaves of the baobab trees rustled ominously. The villagers gasped and looked up at the sky. A few moments passed, and the sky remained clear. And then it happened.
A single fat raindrop fell from the sky, landing on my outstretched hand.
A collective gasp arose from the villagers. More raindrops followed, and soon, the sky opened up. A torrent of rain poured down, soaking the parched earth. The villagers erupted in cheers, dancing and singing in the pouring rain. Their joy knew no bounds. Anani, drenched to the bone, watched the celebration with a quiet smile. He had played his part. He had called upon the spirits and they had answered. But he knew that he was merely a conduit. The rain was a gift from the heavens, a gift that brought life back to Goha.